What is up, my Jammer and Jamette fans? Welcome back to another episode of the BCAM Sports Jam. Here with me, my co-host, Steven Berkheimer. Steven, how are we doing tonight?
Good. How about yourself?
Excellent.
Good.
I'm your hostess with the mostest, Brad Cameron. I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors before we begin. Good Samaritans Transport, LLC. Good Samaritans, service that exceeds expectations. Well, why don't we get local? Talk about some local teams first.
Let's do it.
Before we get into our first break. So without further ado, let's get local on these people. First topic. Let's talk about the Terps.
Terps.
Had a loss against Michigan. Have come back. Had a W against Northwestern in kind of a scary fashion. Right now, half a game out of first place in the Big Ten. 6-1 conference record. 17-2 overall record. Sparty is on the menu this weekend. Saturday at 6:30 on ESPN. I think if we can win the turnover margin against Michigan State, I think we win this basketball game. Michigan State on a 3-game losing streak right now. They're really desperate. They're very desperate for a win. They're going to be fighting. They are going to be fighting. They're going to be clawing. I think Maryland has to hold on to the basketball. I know that's one thing that Maryland struggles with is turning over the ball a little too much. We have a lot of scores and we can put up points really fast. But if we don't hold on to that basketball, that game could get out of hand quick. So Spartans looking to really reel and find a win and kind of stop their season from sinking. That's 6:30 on ESPN. Maryland versus Michigan State. Don't miss that one, Jammer fans. It's going to be a good one. Another local team. Let's talk about the Wiz. 20-21 right now. One game out of the playoffs. 8 seed. One game out of the 8 seed. 9.5 games back out of first place. They played the Jazz on the 23rd. Can they get that W? Can they get back on track and really start winning some games with consistency instead of kind of win loss going back and forth, staying around 500? Can this maybe be the mark that starts some kind of momentum for them? What do you think? Yeah.
I think since Beal's come back, we played different kind of basketball, and he's definitely changed the way we approach each game, and he definitely gives us a better chance to win. So, with him coming back and playing more and more minutes, I think it's only beneficial to us.
Absolutely. I think once we can get him just more in, more basketball time, getting more comfortable, just, kind of being on the court again, familiarizing himself with his teammates again, he'll get comfortable, start scoring more points, and I think that will lead to more victories. Next local team, let's talk about the Washington Capitals. One of the only things we have to celebrate, Washington Capitals. Playing fantastic hockey right now. Lead the NHL with 73 points. 35-8-3 record at this moment. Like I said, first place overall, also first place in the East. Take on the Ducks on Friday. Game was scheduled at 7 because of weather. Now it's bumped up to 5. Do you see any reason why that we can't win this game?
No, Anaheim's really struggled this year, and we're on fire. So I don't see any way Anaheim is. I'd say we win by at least 2 goals, maybe 3. We're first in goals for, first in goals against, first one in power play. So I'll take us. Anaheim's been struggling this year, but
take it to the bank, people. Caps over Ducks tonight. Let's talk about the weather that is, moving the starting time of this game up.
Right.
The blizzard that's projected for the DC area, DMV. All of our Jammer fans in the area, please take precautions. Blizzard warnings. Weather's going to be bad. Stay off the roads. Make sure that you stay safe and stay warm. Let's talk NBA for one quick second. All-star rosters just got released for the East and the West. Just for our NBA Jammer fans, to let you know. LeBron, Carmelo, Paul George, Kyle Lowry, and D. Wade, starting 5 for the East in the All-Star game. In the West, we got Kobe, Steph, Curry, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and then Kawhi Leonard. So those are the 2 starting 5s for the East and the West All-Star teams. And we're going to jump to our first break, but don't go anywhere, Jammer fans. We got more for you. Welcome back, Jammer fans. Our next segment is sponsored by the Silver Spring Social Sports League. Silver Spring Social Sports is a 21 and older, adult amateur league. It's a fun league. If you want to come out, stay active, and get involved in sports like kickball, volleyball, dodgeball, football, and soccer, come on out, sign up. You can sign up online at silverspringssocialsports.com. Come on out and play. Next topic we're going to talk about is NFL. Big weekend. You got the NFC Championship and you got the AFC Championship. Let's dive first into the NFC Championship. We're talking Carolina. We're talking Arizona. Looking at what they did last week. Carolina pretty handily taking care of Seattle. Seattle clawed back as best they could, but for the most part, that was a blowout. At least 3/4 of the game. And Arizona kind of in a tight one against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers really rallied his troops. Very impressive postseason performance after kind of a mediocre regular season. Lost a tight one. Coin flip is kind of suspect. No one really knows what happened. We're moving on. It's Arizona. It's Carolina. Everything else is done with. That's what's happening now. So who do you got in this game and why?
I'll take the Panthers. I think, going back a couple of weeks, they were my pick. I think Cards are definitely a good team. They've taken some injuries on the defensive end, and I think that in the end, granted the Panthers receivers aren't the best weapons, but with Olsen and I think they can get Brown and Ginn Jr. working. So I think the Cards are gonna have to put up more points than they're used to against defenses such as Carolina. They did really well in Seattle, but going to Carolina, I'm going to go ahead and go with Carolina. They have the home field advantage, and given that their defense is pretty stout, I'll go with the Panthers.
Okay. Now, I'm almost positive with this one. Not 100% sure, but I think I heard this stat the other day. No West Coast team in the postseason has ever won a 1 o'clock starting time in the East. So no team from the West has ever gone and won a postseason game at a 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time starting. Never. It's never happened. So with that in mind, I think you're pretty safe in taking Carolina. But
there's more.
I'm going with Arizona. It's due to happen. Come on, Cardinals. I think they, the loss of Tyrann Mathieu it's really going to hurt. He is the swag of that defense. Peterson is the workhorse, but he is the swag, and he brings a different kind of, emotion and level to that defense. Powers and Peterson are solid, but he is the flair that goes in with that defense. But still, I think they can take control of Brown and of Ginn. Ginn may control himself with drops, but either way, I don't think it's anything that those two guys can't really keep in check. I think that the biggest thing is that Cam Newton and Jonathan Stewart are going to beat you up. Carolina is becoming the new Seattle team in the NFC where, they like to beat you up, and they will, and their defense is relentless, but they will beat you up with their quarterback with his legs. They'll beat you up with Jonathan Stewart, and then when you're tired of that, we're going to do a little play action. We're going to throw it downfield to Ted Ginn. I think Arizona can handle that. I think they're ready for that, and I think they can stretch the field enough. And I think Seattle really laid a groundwork to go after Coleman, safety for Carolina. He looked lost against some of the play actions and double moves that Seattle was running. Doug Baldwin was eating him alive. And play action from Russell Wilson was tearing him up. He had no idea where to go. Absolutely got torched. So I think Arizona, if they really want to win this game, in terms of making big plays, I think they need to go after him and kind of stay away from Josh Norman like Seattle did. Russell Wilson really, they didn't even take shots that way. They went on the other side of the field, said forget it. Well, in the second half, obviously in the first half, they weren't even there. I don't know what was going on. But in that second half, they started taking shots downfield, and they went kind of away from Norman and went away from Kuechly over, kind of over both their heads, and Coleman looked lost. And I think that Arizona, Carson Palmer throws a tremendous deep ball, beautiful deep ball. And if Coleman isn't ready, if he gets eaten up by some of these double moves, yeah, I think Arizona can pull off the upset because I think their defense brings enough intensity to hang with Carolina's offense, and I think their offense has some explosiveness to hang with Carolina's defense. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Fantastic game. Give me a score, Steve. What do you got score-wise?
I have the Panthers 31-24.
31-24. All right. I'm going to take Arizona 28-24. Okay. So I'm taking Arizona 28-24. And this is, I think this is the matchup everyone wants to see. I think it's rare for the 1 and 2 seeds to go up against each other, but for the AFC and the NFC, this is this is what's happening, and I think this is kind of middle to late part of the season. Everyone was kind of riding high on Arizona or riding high on Carolina. They were the two kind of powerhouses that people wanted to see face off. So this is going to be a tremendous matchup. Well, let's talk AFC, but before that, we're going to cut to another break. Jammer fans, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Jammer fans. Moving on, we're going to talk about the AFC Championship. I want to give a shout out to another one of our sponsors, Junk Masters. Love these guys. If you need any junk picked up, moved, anything like that, call Junk Masters. Junk Masters, our business is picking up. So let's talk AFC Championship. Classic. Patriots versus Broncos. Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning. You almost can't draw it up any better.
Yeah.
Let's go over last week first, because there's a lot to talk about these matchups. Let's go over last week before we start talking about anything else. Patriots beat Kansas City. Kind of took control early and just kind of stayed ahead. Give credit to Kansas City. Hung in there on the road. Just kind of floated around. Really good stuff that Kansas City has going on right now. Gotta give them tons of credit. The way they finished the regular season and were able to win their first game, go to Foxborough, compete. Tremendous season. Congratulations to you guys. Just obviously not enough yet to really hang with the Patriots, especially at New England. Patriots looked pretty good outside of some drops.
Yeah.
Edelman coming back, had some drops early. Made a couple plays. Amendola had some drops. Gronk looked Gronk.
Right.
Spike, came out well. 2 touchdowns, took care of business. The Broncos kind of struggled.
They did.
But Ben Roethlisberger looked a lot more healthy than I thought he was going to be. I mean, I literally thought his arm would be in a sling trying to throw a football. Like, I had no idea what to expect after kind of the way they blew it up with whatever sprained AC joint. They carted him off to the locker room. He came back out. No one had any idea. He looked okay. First play from scrimmage, play action, 50-yard bomb down there to Bryant. Now, granted, they didn't hook up, but still, he wasn't afraid to cut it loose right away. So this Pittsburgh team was a little bit more than I think the Broncos were game planning for. I think it was a little more out of Ben than what they possibly thought. Now, they didn't have Antonio Brown. That's a big loss, obviously. One of, if not the best receiver in the game right now. But the Broncos struggled, offensively and defensively. I really didn't like the play calls for the Broncos. It looked like everything was short, everything was dink and dunk, and they were just running the ball. It didn't make sense. Now you have Peyton Manning back, like kind of let him operate. Let him do his thing and let him go. It's not Osweiler. You don't need to keep him on a leash, in a sense. But that defense also looked good, I guess, but no Antonio Brown. So how do you know how well they really played? Big Ben still threw for over 300 yards. So I don't know. Broncos kind of reeling a little bit, and the Patriots just kind of staying there. What do you got here? What's your prediction?
I'll take the Broncos, and I'll tell you why. Because I think, as you alluded to, that the Broncos play calling last game was abysmal. It was terrible. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know if they were trying to just get Manning some playing time or what. I don't know. But, if you can't move the ball down the field, your defense is going to be out there a lot, and they're going to get tired. And Big Ben is going to he's going to score, probably 1 or 2 touchdowns every game. And even though they're without Brown and Le'Veon and D'Angelo Williams,
Sure, yeah.
there's not a lot to worry about. But when your defense is on the field the whole time, they're going to get tired, and then you're going to have the breaks. A lot of the plays were a 40-yard play. Martavis Bryant, has an end around, and he runs for 40 yards to set him up for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Broncos approached that game, I guess, to win, just to win, not to make a statement, which is all you need to do now. But I think that the Pats, with how they are and how I saw them last game with all the drops and being in Denver and Denver's defense being as good as they are, and nothing against Tom, but I just think that in the end, his defense is going to let him down, and he's not going to be able to move the ball for the last drive. I don't think to put them in a position to win. And in the end, I'll take the Broncos 27-24.
Okay, very good, very good. I can't bet against Tom Brady. I know he doesn't have a great record in Denver, but I just don't. Nothing about this Broncos team makes me think they're gonna make plays to win this game. Like you had just said, they had play calls to not lose, or whatever you had said. They were just playing to win and didn't want to make a statement. The Patriots don't care about people's feelings. They really don't. Every single game they play is to make a statement. And this whole year, Tom Brady is trying to make a statement against the NFL after they came after him with the Deflategate. I'm not picking any sides. I'm just stating what's going on. He is on a mission. This dude's on a mission. Took him to court. Won. They're appealing. I'm sure there's going to be more going on with that. But we'll squash that for now. Let's talk about what's happened this year. He's played great. Came out of the gate frying. Taking his team to another level, looking fantastic. Now they're a 2 seed playing against the Broncos. And I think that game against Kansas City was a very poor performance by all the receivers for the Patriots. That will not be the case against Denver. Even though I know Denver has a very good secondary, the Patriots have, they scheme well. They run very crisp routes, and Brady delivers the ball where it needs to be thrown. And I think that they make the necessary catches. And I think even though their defense is a little bit nicked up right now, I think they can get enough pressure on Peyton Manning to kind of fluster him. And that offense hasn't clicked all year. Even if Osweiler was in there, he didn't look necessarily fantastic. It was enough to win, and I congratulate him on, stepping in and winning games for his team. But you didn't look like you were the one to lead them in the playoffs. That's why you didn't play. Their offense just hasn't looked good all year, and I don't see why that would change. I think they continue to struggle to move the football. I think the defense stays on the field long again, and I think Tom Brady does do what's necessary to win. I think the receivers make the plays, to win this game, and I'll take the Patriots 24-17.
Okay.
24-17 because I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. Because Denver's offense doesn't look like they're trying to put up a lot of points, and the Patriots are going up against the best defense in the NFL. So this isn't going to be some kind of shootout by any stretch of the imagination. 24-17, Patriots. Tom Brady does it again in whatever fashion. He gets it done, and I think Steven Jackson has a really nice game as well.
Okay.
Peyton Manning, after this season,
He will be going to Disney World.
he will be going to Disney World.
Yes, he will.
But
As a champion.
hold on, is this a game that could be his last game?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Weeks ago, we were talking about whether we'd see him ever again when he was behind Osweiler, but now he's back. I think, obviously by my pick, that he's going to be playing another week.
Okay. So do you think these are his last 2 games?
Yes, I do. Win or lose, I think these are his last 2 games.
Wow. No Peyton Manning in the NFL next year. That is something.
Do you believe that?
I don't believe that.
No.
I still think he has one more year under his belt. You know, he does a good job getting rid of the football, so he doesn't take a lot of hits. I know his neck is an issue, and he had the hamstring. Yeah, I know he is getting nicked up, but I still think he's healthy enough to have one more season. You know, if they work really hard, get him healthy, and you know, I think if he gets injured next season, I don't know if he does come back. I think he will come back and be the starter for Denver next season, whether or not he wins this game or, you know, wins the Super Bowl. You know, but I still see him as the starter next year. I think he still has enough in the tank. Come on, Peyton. Come back, man. You got one more. One more.
Right.
He's got enough in the tank. Let's talk Super Bowl. You have Carolina versus Denver.
I do.
And I have the 2 seeds, Arizona versus the Patriots. Talk to me about the Super Bowl, Carolina and Denver.
Who am I going to take?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Broncos. This is what I called 4 weeks ago, so I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say Peyton leaves as a champion. He retires on top of the world, and then next year we'll have another new champion.
Peyton, if you're watching this, don't listen to him. You're not leaving. You're fine. Okay, you're fine. Okay, Denver Broncos sticking with his Broncos. I like it. I'm sticking with Arizona. I think it would be a tremendous game to watch Carson Palmer and Tom Brady tee off. There'd be so many awesome throws. It'd be great to watch. And I think Arizona will win that game. You know, obviously we're gonna reconvene and some stuff will happen this weekend, and then
You'll congratulate me, and I'll say thank you.
There'll be more to talk about for the Super Bowl. So NFL's still not completely over. There's gonna be more to talk about. Stevie taking Carolina and the Broncos. Your host, the man, taking Cards, taking the Patriots. Can't bet against Tom Brady. Just can't do it. And we'll see.
All right.
We'll see. Well, that's all the time we have for you today, Jammer fans. Be safe out there. I want to remind all of our fans, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. We'll see you guys next week.